And that's to use the Minister's own
words.
And
the member's time has expired. Gareth Hughes.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou kia ora. Surprisingly, I rise to support this bill. The only bill the Green Party will be supporting under urgency, the Customs and Excise Budget Measures Motor Spirit Amendment Bill. The interesting thing about this is quite possibly the only bill that actually is budget-related as part of this tranche of budget urgency this Parliament is on Saturday morning, Mr Speaker. So I rise to support this bill, but I want to note the strong reservations the Green Party has, because while we agree we should have increased transport funding, we think increasing the petrol excise levy is a good signal, which is going to help give the government money to spend on the right solutions. The problem is, Mr Speaker, what we're not going to see is the right solutions being picked by this government. What we're going to see is this money being spent on more low-value motorways. Mr Speaker, in terms of cars, they're often described as a dog or a lemon, and what we see under this government is a whole bunch of motorway projects that are both dogs and lemons, because they don't even make economic sense, not even to the government's own analysis. What we know is the so-called roads of national significance didn't go through any Treasury analysis. They were election pledge, election bribe, Mr Speaker, and the government, despite all the expert analysis, despite the independent consultants saying some of these had a woeful negative benefit-cost ratio, the government's still ploughing ahead. And you can see that head-in-the-sand approach in the regulatory impact statement that says that the objectives of keeping the roads of national significance should be kept. Now, what we're seeing with this legislation is petrol fuel excise taxes going up 3 cents over the next 3 years, so a 9 cents increase over 3 years. It's to carry the declining National Land Transport Fund. Now, I feel sorry for the Minister, Jerry Brownlee, because what's happened is the original Transport Minister, Jerry Brownlee, he had a $20 billion National Land Transport Fund, which he allocated through the government policy statement on transport funding. He had the pleasure of going around the country talking about launching motorways, starting the ball rolling. And what he's left Jerry Brownlee with is a dog and a lemon, because what he's left it with is not enough money to finish the job. The cupboard is bare, because the $12 billion this government's wasting on uneconomic motorways that don't even have a strong business case. Look, the Green Party supports spending on infrastructure investment. The Green Party even supports borrowing for infrastructure investment when there's a good business case. But these 7 so-called roads of national significance don't even have a strong business case. So what we see is the National Land Transport Fund down over $1.6 billion over the next 5 years. So now Jerry Brownlee has to go put it on the credit card, nearly $1 billion in extra borrowing for these motorways of national party significance. The problem is, of course, that over the last 5 years what we've seen is petrol prices up, we've seen road volumes down, we've seen public transport patronage growth grow spectacularly, yet the government still doesn't give Kiwis options to get around. All they're offering is motorways to get out of Wellington faster, motorways to get north of Auckland faster. There isn't that critical investment in our cities where our prosperity and our economic development options are going to be. So there's no money in the budget, despite some speculation on the Standard blog that the government would launch a funding announcement for the CBD rail loop in Auckland. There's no funding for light rail for Wellington. There's no funding for our cities, just for the roads of national party significance. Roads of trucking significance, because they're the real beneficiaries of these motorways, roads of trucking significance. So what we see is bad policy set by the government, a minister who's got no money in the cupboard left because Stephen Joyce has spent it all. So Jerry Brownlee now has to run off to Parliament to raise the taxes, put it on the credit card. But the problem is we're still going to be stuck with these 7 motorways. Mr Speaker, there is a better way, and that's what the Green Party is advocating for, which is investing in smart transport, a balanced approach. Because if we actually had a balanced approach to the transport budget, there'd still be money for the roads, there'd still be money for road safety upgrade, which we know is being delayed as a result of all the money being poured into these 7 roads of national party significance. We could be spending money on roads, we could be spending money on road safety, we could be spending more money on road policing. All these budget lines have been raided by both Stephen Joyce and Jerry Brownlee to pour into these political roads. So I think New Zealanders want a smarter option. That's what all the polls are indicating. They want a CBD rail link for Auckland. They want to have funding powers and regional autonomy to make some of these decisions. They want better buses, better trains, better walking and cycling, and that's what the Green Party is going to keep advocating for. Kia ora.
Simon O'Connor.
Look, I think the opposition must still be asleep with the level of rhetoric and ideology we're hearing. Smart transport, I think, is sort of walking